Hi, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah, and I have officially been a nurse practitioner for a little over 4 years now. So in today's video, I pretty much wanted to give a review of what it's been like being a nurse practitioner over the past few years. Was it worth it to become a nurse practitioner? Am I happy with my life now? Am I happy with the amount of money that I make? So let's talk about it in today's video. Becoming a nurse practitioner has been worth it for me. So in general, my quality of life is amazing. Even after working a 12-hour shift, and this has pretty much been across the board at all the different positions that I've worked at, I do not feel exhausted. I remember working as a nurse at the bedside, because I worked in the ICU for the majority of my nursing career. I would get off of work, and when I tell you, by the time I took the shuttle back to my car and then drove, it was about a 35 minute drive home for me. By the time I got home, I didn't want to do anything, okay? I was so exhausted. I had nothing left in me. I had to sleep. I mean, sleep was really the only thing, sleeping and lounging. But now I can say, after my 12-hour shifts, I still have energy. Like, I can do things with the kids. I can cook a meal if I need to. I still feel like I've got part of my night left. It's a different feel. And this is actually the reason why I pursued becoming an NP, is because I could not see myself being that exhausted and taking that much physical wear and tear on my body for decades longer. And I know there are a lot of different avenues. There are a lot of different jobs that a registered nurse can take. And not all of those are going to be as taxing on the body and as physical. But the hospital is kind of where my love was. And if I was to work as a registered nurse, that was just like the place in life that I was at. So being a nurse practitioner is definitely, it can be stressful, but in general, it's not as exhausting. So one thing that I will say about being a nurse practitioner that I don't necessarily care for is I don't really have those friendships and those peers that I can really sit and talk with and laugh with and bounce ideas off of and get help from and help out. I don't really have those kind of relationships at work anymore. And I can't say I miss that. I remember coming into work and I would see that I was working with like a couple of my really good nursing friends. I was so excited. We would just have a ball the whole shift, help each other out, look out for each other, cover each other for breaks. Sometimes we'd even get a chance to take breaks together, giving relationship advice, just all those sort of things. And I don't really have that at work. Oftentimes, I really only work with one medical assistant, and she'll be up in the front checking patients in while I'm in the back doing my thing. So I don't really have those relationships as much. I don't really have the opportunity to build those relationships because I don't really work with anybody. So that's different. Is it enough for me to say I want to go back to being a nurse? No, because honestly, like, I enjoy peace and quiet almost as much as I enjoyed having friends at work. So it's just something that I will say I do miss at times. Another thing that I will say about being a nurse practitioner, and this is all dependent on where you work, but I will say that I don't feel as protected. And by that I mean like physically as protected. So as a nurse working on a unit, I was surrounded by so many staff members. I was surrounded by respiratory therapists, physical therapists, doctors, nurses, CNAs, security. You know, we had a panic button on my unit where if I was feeling threatened or just uncomfortable with a patient who got irate, I could just press the panic button, or I could quickly call security. I could remove myself from the situation. I didn't feel as exposed as a nurse. But now working in a smaller clinic, I will say, and you know, we don't really have security. Of course, I can call the police if something were to go down, and nothing has happened, but I will say I do feel a bit more exposed. I don't really feel as safe, and I'm very easily identified. There really aren't any providers that look like me, so I definitely stand out. I haven't run into any issues because of that, but it is something that's kind of in the back of my mind and something that I am aware of. So am I satisfied with the money? In general, I will say yes, but I will say this. I am very aware that I have the potential to make more money working at the bedside. Money is not the reason why I pursued becoming a nurse practitioner in the first place. So yes, I'm making more money than I would be making if I had kept my staff full-time bedside job. Keep in mind, when I first became a bedside nurse, the pay rate was significantly lower than it is now. For now, I am totally satisfied with what I'm doing. It's a very comfortable lifestyle. I can pretty much do all the things that I want to do. If you're looking for the come up as far as money goes, my go-to would definitely be travel nursing. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, travel nursing is not an option. I would say the top two concerns that I hear most of my nurse friends bring up to me is the demand there? Is the market oversaturated for nurse practitioners? Am I gonna have a hard time finding a job? And from my own personal experience, I can say that I've never had a problem finding a job. I remember my first nurse practitioner position that I applied for, a physical medicine and rehab job, and I had no idea what that was. But at that point, I was a little nervous about finding a job, so I did the unthinkable. On the website, when they asked, how much are you looking to be compensated? I'm not even gonna tell you guys how low of a figure I told them, but it was really freaking low, okay? And I got a call almost immediately. They called me back, of course, and they interviewed me, and the interview actually went really well, and they hired me. So overall, it was a really great experience. I loved it, but it did get to that point for me where I was a little bit bored, and I was interested in making some more money. It was time to move on. So this last point is for all my lifelong learners out there. Something else that I love about being a nurse practitioner is the fact that I'm constantly learning something new, and there's new challenges that I'm facing daily. So when I was a bedside nurse, I kind of felt like I was getting stagnant. I wanted to see what was next. I wanted to do more. I was yearning for more knowledge and more responsibilities and just a change. So I definitely feel fulfilled as a nurse practitioner. There's so many different specialties that I have the option to pursue. I'm still satisfied with the urgent care right now, but I love to have those options. And honestly, those options are there for bedside nurses as well. But I knew that as a bedside nurse, the ICU was going to be it for me. That was like the pinnacle for me at the time. And I successfully accomplished it. I did it for, a long time. And I felt like, okay, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to learn more. And this is definitely, being a nurse practitioner has definitely satisfied that need. And it continues to satisfy that need for me. The nurse practitioner life is not as glamorous as I thought it was gonna be. I thought I'd be wearing my little cute business casual outfits every day. I thought I was gonna come in with my cute little laptop and see my patients and go about my business. It hasn't been that. I've definitely had to take work home with me. I've spent hours and hours and hours charting at home when I had other things that I would much rather be doing. That was just something that was totally terrible and totally unexpected, because these were all hours that I was putting in the work and I was not getting paid. So not only did I start out with a low paying job as a nurse practitioner, but it was even lower when you divide the amount of hours that I was putting into the job that I wasn't being compensated for. I will say that's the beauty of being a nurse practitioner, is you can, choose. You can choose what you want to do and what's the best fit for you, and you can try different things, especially if you have something like a dual certification, like acute and family. If that was an option for me when I got my degree, I definitely would have done that. So that's a piece of advice for the people who are watching this, who are considering pursuing their degree. I definitely would get a dual certification for sure, because then the options are endless for you. All right, so I've been rambling enough, but in general, I will say that pursuing the nurse practitioner route, all the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into getting my degree was totally worth it. Would I call it a dream job? Not necessarily. I personally don't really think a dream job exists. I think that there's an ideal job for all of us, and it comes with its perks. It comes with the downsides as well. But I will say that becoming a nurse practitioner has definitely been ideal for me and my lifestyle, and I'm so happy that I chose this route. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you're a nurse practitioner, leave me a message in the comments and let me know what you love about it, what you don't love so much. Do you regret it? Was it worth it? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in my next video.